Buick and Togethxr have teamed up to increase representation and gender equality in sports because girls everywhere deserve a chance to play on a level field. Join the conversation as we see her greatness. Good morning. You guys, seriously, we've been to Minneapolis, we've been to Oklahoma. You get the prize here in Eugene, Oregon, in the rain, ponchos, and the umbrellas. So guys, thank you so much, seriously. I'm Brooke Baldwin. I am here, of course, on behalf of Buick. We are so grateful for Buick for really, planting the seeds and creating this amazing Huddle series. Buick, by the way, has been the proud sponsor of the NCAA since 1970. And we are also here, in addition to Buick, thanks to Togethxr, which is this fantastic company. Really, we're all here talking about, raising the spotlight on women in sports and talking more about media coverage and how we as fans can really help level the playing field because we care about the ladies. We care about the ladies! Okay. Speaking of, I know you're not here for me. I get how this is. You're here for the ladies back there. So first, let me introduce an athlete who absolutely kills it in the discus throw. She was a 7-time All-American at Stanford. She went to compete at the highest levels nationally and internationally, becoming the 2018 national champion. She went on to represent the USA in Tokyo, bringing home the gold. In April, she became the North American record holder with a throw of 71.46 meters. Please welcome Valarie Allman. Yes. Take a seat.
Thank you.
Look at those guns. Our next athlete ran for the USC Trojans and was a 4-time All-American at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. She brought home the gold, not once, but twice, for the United States in Rio for the 400-meter hurdles and in Tokyo, most recently, for the 4x400-meter relay. She has also collected gold at the 2019 World Championships in both the 400 hurdle and the relay events. Please welcome the 2019 World Athlete of the Year, Dalilah Muhammad. Yes. Okay. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Let's just start with, I was talking to these two backstage. If you're an athlete and you're waking up and you're seeing, Eugene is beautiful, right? But if you're seeing all this rain, what are you really thinking when you're waking up?
In all honesty, these things can be a bummer. You train for something all year and you see the rain, but in these moments, I just gotta dive in deeper, just get super focused and don't even think about it.
How do you, when you're thinking of hurdling and sprinting your you-know-what off, do you think about it differently if you know it's wet?
I don't.
You don't?
I think, for me, I was always that kind of runner that was just like, you know what? I hope everyone else is thinking about it because I'm going to be the one on the field that's not.
I love that. I love that. And for you, throwing?
Throwing is pretty challenging in the rain. I think it's a similar mindset that you can't help but be aware of it, but when you get onto that field, you kind of just get laser beam focused, but you try to have a lot of tactics of towels and keeping things dry, and for throwing, you want to make sure you're as balanced as possible.
Yep. So put yourself in the shoes, in the cleats, whatever, of these athletes coming out. What's going through their minds in the morning up until the bus ride here?
I think so. For me, it was always kind of going over that race and kind of just walking myself through what I wanted to do on that day and how I was going to accomplish it. Trying to look at it in a way that made it seem smaller than what it actually was. Minimizing.
How make it seem smaller than it actually was? That's interesting.
How would you do that? Because you look at, I did the 400 hurdles, and you think of this 400 hurdle race, it's going to hurt, it's inevitable that last 40 meters of the race is going to be painful, and you just got to push through. Kind of accept that. So for me, making it smaller was just kind of thinking about it in segments. What am I going to do with that first 30 meters to the hurdle? What am I doing over the hurdles? What am I doing at each little segment of the race to take my mind off the fact that it's a full 400 meters and it's going to hurt?
Describe the hurt.
That feeling of locking up, what they call the monkey jumps on your back. You're just feeling every muscle kind of tighten up, and you're trying your best to kind of just stay relaxed and kind of run through that kind of intense muscle locking.
Okay, wow. And again, if you're one of the athletes, if you're one of the throwers coming out, what does your morning prep and mental game look like?
It's different every time you come. When you're a freshman here for the first time, you just are like pumped with excitement, but when you're here as a senior and it's your last time, the intensity and the pressure that you feel is unparalleled to anything you felt up to that point in your career. I think everyone is just focused on trying to maximize your potential when you get there, and if you can do that in the moment, it's the greatest feeling, to have all that hard work pay off. And if you don't, oftentimes it can lead to a better result that you never imagine, right? Because you have that fuel for the fire that will push you to want to keep getting better.
You guys have been following the competition. Give me, if there's one moment of greatness that you want to highlight.
Man, I'm partial or impartial to the 400-meter hurdles. I think I've been watching that race. The men ran their finals yesterday. So I'm always, I'm a 400 hurdler fan, so I'm always excited to kind of watch that.
How did college prepare you for throwing professionally?
Wanting to be great in college is very different than wanting to be great as a professional, but there was a ton of learning lessons that came from it. My biggest goal in college was I wanted to be an NCAA champion, and coming into it my last year, I was expected to win. I had the farthest seed, and it was a rainy day like this, and I ended up finishing third, and I was crushed. Now looking back, it was actually probably one of the greatest things that happened to me, because it made me realize that one meet doesn't define your career. It's the body of work. It's the...
Do y'all hear that? One meet does not define your career.
And it gave me a passion to really want to dive all the way in of how can I maximize my sleep, my nutrition, my practice routine, the bond I have with my coach. How can we work together so it's not just that heartbreak I feel in one single day, but really a journey that you end up feeling really proud of.
Same question for you, Dalilah. How did you, going from college into professional?
College taught me about my passion and what I wanted to give to the sport. I remember it was just a perfect setup for me in college. It'll be my senior year, I can make London, and that didn't happen. And so I think for me, it was just kind of having those building blocks of kind of being that crushing moment where you're like, wow, I've been planning this for 4 years and it didn't work out. It was just that crushing feeling that I felt that made me feel like if you feel this passionate about something and it's worth going forward and it's worth taking more serious and kind of diving deeper into what do I need to do to accomplish this goal.
Yeah, running is something, as we were talking back there, you were on the playground when you were discovered by the neighborhood track coach?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 6 years old.
6 years old, and you were just running along, or?
I was running. I always loved running, honestly. It's been my passion. My parents tell me that I ran before I walked. Literally, the first time they oversaw me on 2 feet, I ran across the living room floor. Wow. And they were just all amazed, this girl, she doesn't even walk. Just being a young kid in the neighborhood, I always loved racing, and we had this square in my neighborhood that's a park, but it's a perfect kind of square pathway, and I would race kids around that square, making these super tight turns, but boys too. I was you know what, just being the kid that just loved doing it.
Were you faster than the boys?
Of course.
Of course. For you, how did throwing come into your radar?
A bit of a funny story. I grew up really into dance and soccer, but my brother was a pole vaulter, and he was like, wow, you should totally come try something on the track team. And I was like, oh gosh, okay. So I tried high jump, tried long jump, tried sprinting. None of them were clicking. And the throwers had an annual spaghetti dinner, and they said that anybody that came and tried throwing could come to the spaghetti dinner. And that got me. I went.
You were motivated by spaghetti.
It just felt right being in the ring. I felt I had a weird knack for it, and it's just take me to places I never imagined.
The grace that it requires to spin and do the arms, it's almost like this beautiful dance in this circle to then release, that discus or even the shot put, whatever it is. And I'm curious how dance helps you throw.
At first, I thought of it as choreography. I was like, okay, left arm to here, right leg to here, and then we hit the middle. And I think the background of balance and understanding your body and having rhythm, discus is super rhythmical.
Yes.
It was a great kickstart, and I think that rhythm component is still very much so present in how I throw.
Dalilah, to you, I mean, modeling. So if you follow, obviously I follow both of them on Instagram, but she had just posted some videos, stunning. And the through line from hurdling and sprinting and modeling is obviously movement. How did you get into modeling, and is there a through line for you?
Well, honestly, I have a background in dance too. So,
Do you? We've got some dancers on stage.
So I started dancing when I was like 7 years old, and I did it all the way up until I went to college. Me too, was just kind of having that movement background and just being a good student, really. I think even for hurdling, you kind of need that. You kind of just need to know how to move your body and exactly how you want it to move. And for me, that's kind of how modeling was too. So I think I just kind of followed one passion, track and field, and thankfully others have come knocking.
I want to talk about training, because you both, again, if you follow them on Instagram, and the weights and the clings and the deadlifts, like they train like total bosses. Talk about your training and why all this weight is so important.
As a thrower, lifting is like one of the foundational parts of our training. Coming from a dance background, at first that part did feel foreign, but now I love it. It's really fun to also now have this other piece of training where you can push yourself, right? Like you can be just 1 kilogram stronger, and that's weeks, months of work just to feel that, right? So it's another great way to track improvement. Lifting is definitely one of my passions. I absolutely love.
What are you bench pressing?
I actually don't bench press.
You don't bench press?
No, which is actually quite rare for a discus thrower, but we do a lot of push-ups.
Okay, a lot of push-ups.
Yeah.
How many push-ups can you do at a time?
We have worked up to doing like 180 in a day. So,
woo! That hurts my arms thinking about it. Dang.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
What about, Dalilah, for you training?
That's my least favorite part of being a track and field athlete, is the lifting for me. I'm learning to love it more now, because it's something that we need. We need that power as a sprinter. You need to just that speed, and that's what you get from those Olympic lifts.
You think of track and field as more of an individual sport, but do you feel like you are on a team? And tell me about your teammates and why having your own huddle matters.
There was a time that I trained by myself, and honestly, having a team is just so much better. Just to have someone kind of go through that pain I was talking about with you, even if it's just just knowing that someone else feels what you're feeling.
Yes.
And just being able to like rely on them, and then just having that support. I actually moved to Texas about a year ago, so I'm away from all my friends, and all I really do have is my training partners and my coach. So we're definitely like a kind of a family unit, and we just have each other to rely on it, and it works.
Same question for you. Do you have a huddle?
I have a remote huddle. I have an awesome coach, and I'm really close with my family. The way that my training situation is that I train at a university, and I'm a volunteer assistant, so there's not other professionals there. So I've really relied on my bonds from college teammates that were so formative, and several of those teammates are still competing professionally, so it's really great to be able to call them. But at first it was really difficult to kind of feel like an island, to go from having such a team and then having to navigate things more independently. But I think each year I get a sense of confidence from knowing the body of work that has been done.
Yes.
Which has been really
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Now, both of you have broken significant records. Valarie, you are the current North American record holder with a throw of 71.46 meters. That is the farthest discus throw in the world. Yes, give it up. Dalilah, the record for the 400-meter hurdles had been held strong for 16 years until 2019, when you broke the record not once, but twice. When you break records, what does that feel like?
A lot of people tell me I didn't have any expression when I broke it, and not trying to be cocky, but for the first time. And honestly, I was just literally waiting for someone to be like, tap me on the shoulder, like, you did that. Like,
yeah.
I needed that confirmation, and but it feels good. It's just, it's just one of those moments, like you almost can't believe it, but it feels so good, like, to just have your hard work pay off.
Yes, yes. And for you?
Yeah.
That throw that day.
Similar. My throw happened actually like earlier this season. So normally like record breaking things happen like later during kind of like championship time.
Yeah.
So it was incredibly exciting to like feel like you're reaching your best, but also I think my feel is like there's still much more there.
Ooh.
Which is definitely like, for me,
You're going to throw farther is what I'm hearing you say.
thinking you can throw farther is like the
I'm
greatest
capable.
feeling.
I
Yeah.
will. Yes.
I love having that drive, that passion, and when you can see it pay off,
Yep.
it's like the most amazing feeling.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome, awesome. You know, one of the reasons, as I mentioned off the top, that we're here with Togethxr and we're here with Buick because we're talking about raising the visibility of women in sports. And so I'm just curious, within track and field and the time that you really started competing to now, 2022, what is the biggest difference you've observed when it comes to equality in your sport?
As a thrower, there hasn't been a ton of visibility, truthfully, for either gender. Since I've gotten into it, YouTube was kind of how I first found my female idol. So I think it's been really great, obviously, how social media has played a part, how there is trying to be more of an interest in telling athletes' stories.
Yeah. Yes.
But it just takes more people like be willing to put themselves out there, be sharing their journeys, more people wanting to hear about the anecdotes of what got you to be the athlete you are.
Yes. Dalilah, for you.
You know, I guess mine is real personal to the 400 hurdles too. I remember just kind of first coming on the scene, and the 400 hurdles for a long time was kind of that event that like no one cared about. Just
Yeah.
kind of changing that, and athletes kind of stepping up and being like, you know, what about us? And people taking more interest in us, being really breaking these barriers and just running a lot faster and kind of becoming more of a premier event on the track. So for me, I've seen the kind of the transformation for the 400-meter hurdles, and I think the women, I think we're the forefront of that and the reason.
Yes,
So.
yes. And just to take it another step further, Dalilah, you've been very vocal about being a Black woman, Muslim athlete. Talk about why it's important to talk about that.
For representation, I think it matters. And for me growing up, it was always just like, you know, what you want to know what you can be and what's the possibility of like what we can accomplish. And you need to see it for one to believe it, that you can also do it. So just being that face for someone else and for that next generation behind me, yeah, that's kind of really what kind of drives me forward and what's kind of always drove me for my career. And my faith has always been important to me. It's been, you know, what's helped me kind of just, you know, the blueprint. And so yeah, it's been good.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. You guys start thinking of some questions you may have. I'm going to run through. We've got some, we're going to call it the sprint round of the interview. Valarie, I'm going to start with you. We're going to see how many questions you can answer. 3, 2, 1. All right, Valarie. Favorite place in the world to compete?
Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah. Favorite style of dance?
Ooh, hip hop.
Go-to workout song?
Ooh, Champion by Carrie Underwood.
Your puppy's favorite treat?
Peanut butter. Obsessed.
Outside of track and field, your dream job?
Being a hardware engineer.
A hardware.
10 seconds.
Best advice a coach ever gave you?
Focus on the journey rather than the outcome.
Favorite movie?
Slumdog Millionaire.
And time.
Oh, okay. So we got through 8. 8 out of 10. Very nice. Dalilah.
Oh, you're not asking me the same questions?
No, ma'am. There is some overlap. Sammy. 3, 2, 1. Favorite place in the world to compete?
Eugene.
Go-to workout song?
Anything by Drake.
Favorite type of modeling? Runway or photo shoot?
Runway, 100%.
Outside of track and field, favorite job?
Modeling.
Dream job?
Modeling.
Modeling. Best advice a coach ever gave you?
Just be you.
Favorite movie?
Oh man, can't think of anything. Sorry.
Pass.
Pass.
Who inspired you the most growing up?
Wilma Rudolph.
Favorite cheat snack?
10 seconds.
Cinnamon bun.
What's the one word you would tell your younger self today?
Dream big.
2 words, cool.
2 words, sorry.
Favorite charity or cause?
Can't think.
It's okay, it's okay. We got 8 and 8. I'm gonna leave it at the tie. We're good? All right, awesome. Let's ask some questions from the audience. Sammy's got the handheld. The rain is still coming down, but you guys are total troopers.
What's your question?
My daughter Trinity is the track runner, and I want to know. You touched on it a little bit, but specifically, what does a track day meal look like? What do you eat before you compete?
Track day meal.
Honestly, my breakfast is pretty basic. I don't eat anything differently than I normally eat. Maybe some toast, eggs, and some type of protein, like sausage, bacon.
Who else has a question for these ladies?
I have a question for Valarie. How many throws do you think you have a year combining practices and meets?
Ooh, you've even counted that?
Ooh, we actually did count that. So in throwing, there's kind of like a general rule that you should take 10,000 reps a year. So we were interested to see if that was accurate. I actually take around 6,000 reps a year, but it's a combination of like partial movements and full throws. I think it's hard to do. There's no reason to do reps that aren't like, don't have purpose. So it's way better to do like focused, intentional things rather than just a bunch of volume. So 6,000 is kind of the number that we've come to.
Do we have a thrower in the audience? Discus?
Who we got next, Brooke?
Gentleman in the middle and the rock and the green poncho.
The question is, how many strides do you take between hurdles, and how long did it take you to get to your maximum, confidence level and the number of strides?
So I take 15 steps to 16 steps on the back end of the race. Last time I did kind of 14 steps too, so kind of working on more and doing like more 15, 14, 15. And it's not comfortable at all. I think, even as a professional now, I'm working on doing something new. And so, yeah, really trying to work on that and be comfortable with it. I kind of started last year, so it's been a year's time working on something new. I know for men, a lot of times I have a training partner. He's working on going 13 for the whole race and eliminating those 14 steps on the last 2 hurdles. And he's I think about 27 and still working. So, it definitely takes some time to get it right. But I'm always just trying to perfect it and try something new, even at this point in my career.
So you're just counting each time before you hit a hurdle. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. We got somebody in the front row.
My question is for Dalilah. So what was your first 400 hurdles time?
64 seconds.
Yes. Who else?
My question is, what's like the toughest challenge or obstacle you've had to overcome in your career, either like physically or mentally?
I think for me, like, it was a really big step to choose to train post-collegiately. And it was kind of like, I wasn't going in as like a superstar, and I think it was very humbling to recognize that like there weren't any sponsors. Getting an agent was going to be really hard. Figuring out funding to like support this passion was going to be challenging. So that was mentally, I felt like a bit like down starting my professional career. And it also just made it like logistically complex of like, okay, gosh, it's really stressful to go to this competition that I think is so important like for my growth, but it's gonna like put me back $300. Is that worth it? But being willing to bet on yourself feels really good. And when you like improve yourself, like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm putting myself out there and it's going well, it feels really good. So I think for me that was probably like, injuries are really hard in the moment, but to like actually as like a grown person be willing to put yourself in intentionally an uncomfortable position was really challenging.
In 2020, I know a lot of times people say I got COVID twice and just kind of having to overcome that. And I don't think I've ever even mentioned this, so you guys are getting some inside information right here.
There we go.
I got optic neuritis, and really just that's the swelling from COVID, and that's the swelling of your optic nerve. So I lost all my vision in one of my eyes.
No,
so trying
are you
to change
serious? How long?
for about 2 months. Yeah, so about 2 months, and that was like back in maybe like February and March. So trying to train, I'm like, I really can't train. Like technically, it's like I'm not blind, but your one eye, when you can't see out of one eye, the other eye is like trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So like my vision was just terrible.
How could you even train when you could only see out of one eye?
I honestly wasn't, and I would wear shades, which makes it sound crazy that why would you wear shades, but just not having any light to me was kind of better than having like a shining light, because like light was so bright. It was the weirdest thing.
Did you ever have a moment where you thought, am I going to be able to fully see?
I did.
Might this
I was
end my career?
petrified. I was super, super scared, and just kind of going through that. And I was trying to make the team, and it was just like, wow, we're running out of time. I'm like, this needs to get corrected. just feeling down from that. The doctors are all reassuring me, like, you're going to see again. Like, you just need to get the inflammation out your body. Like, and I'm like, you know, at the time, you're like, yeah, you're the doctor, but I'm blind right now. Like, am I like, you know, so having that, it was a crazy kind of just, and that's just something that you just have to overcome. And just finally, when the vision came back and just kind of the running kind of came back with it. So. Craziness.
Thank you for that question, and thank you for sharing that. That is extraordinary. Couldn't see out of one of your eyes and worried about your career, and here you are. Thank goodness. Yes. Yes. Who else? Oh, coming back to the front row. You guys were here first. You can ask all the questions you want.
What's your name and where are you from?
Christina Flemings from Nashville, Tennessee. My question as a parent of an athlete, what was the best way your parents or even your support team supported you from high school, college, and now as a professional athlete?
The role your parents play changes over time. You know, I think when you're young, it's important that like your parents help you be prepared, taking care of the basics of having food available and being that positive influence. I think as you get older and you face like more hardships, feeling like you can talk to them about what you're feeling and them just listen, you know, especially in the moment, and then have some advice has been really helpful for me. My mom is like my best friend, and she's played a very active role, but also she gives me space to kind of figure out my journey as I'm doing it. But it's been really special to be able just to have someone that can like feel it and see what I'm going through, and also just like keep you human. You know, so much of your identity is sports, right? But like it's great just to feel like a daughter and to be able to watch TV together and have those surrounding moments that you just feel like a normal human and
not have it be all sports all the time.
Yeah, that can be really hard. So I think just making sure you embrace them as a human is really important.
Same for me and my mom, really. She's definitely been like one of my biggest supports. And honestly, I think in the very beginning, and I'm sorry, Mom, it's just like her kind of being in my punching bag too, like letting me have my moments where I can go off because I'm frustrated with something and that's going on in the field, and her being understanding enough to be like, she's having a moment, like let her have her moment, because she can't express how she's feeling to really anyone else. So I think for me, my mom has just really been that person that's kind of given me what I needed when I needed it. And now that I think our relationship does kind of change, and she's really willing to give me what I ask for too. And sometimes that's kind of important. Like I think, as parents, we kind of feel like you want to give your child everything you want. But I'm like, I know what you think I want. Just give me what I need, like what I'm asking for, you know. And that's kind of been our relationship now. And I'm super, super thankful. But there's been times I literally just, I'm super overwhelmed. I'm like, Mom, I have a million emails. I need you to play my manager right now. And she's done that for me. I'm like, here's my passcodes. Do everything, please. I just need a month. Like, can you handle it for a month? And she's like, I got you. So
yes,
shout
moms.
out to moms.
Yes, to moms, and also dads. Shout out to the dads. You know, being girl dads, and Father's Day is upcoming, so thank you for them as well. We got time for 2 more questions. Yes, American flag on the hat.
All right. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Sky. I'm from Singapore.
And what's your question?
First question to Dalilah is, do you have any fear as a young lady running a 400 hurdles first time? And what is the advice that you would give young female athletes running the 400 hurdles?
Oh man, any fears? I don't think at this point, I don't think it's too many fears. I think I've kind of, for me, the way I've kind of overcome having that fear is just really showing up at practice. I think kind of getting it done at training and just feeling my most confident self, like at training, to have that translate for me on the track. And that's would be my advice to young people. You know, you don't really feel too nervous when you feel prepared for an exam when you're taking a test. When you're prepared for an exam, you go and you take a test, you're like, oh, I got this, knocking off every answer. And that's how it should feel on the track. Like when you feel prepared to do what you're capable of doing, and that's just the show. And that's the fun part.
Thank you. All right, one more question, y'all.
All right. What's your name and where are you from?
Jeremy from Whitefish, Montana.
What's your question?
My question is, speak to the young athletes, and what was your mindset as a young athlete growing up, and when did you see yourself the way you are today?
You know, I think it changed for me in high school. I think I started getting a lot better, a lot faster, and I really saw this as something I could do for a lifetime or a career. I think to me though, you put so much emphasis on winning, especially like kind of at least for me at that young age, it was all about coming in first, and it wasn't about accepting anything more than first. And I think as I got older, I really learned to just kind of enjoy the journey of getting better and being my best self, and whatever that looks like and how important that is. To just go out there and perform to the best of your abilities.
Thank you. Dalilah, y'all give it up for Dalilah and Valarie. And also for yourselves for showing up in pouring rain here in Eugene. And thank you as always to Buick and to Togethxr. I'm Brooke Baldwin. Thank you so much for coming up. Check out the See Her Greatness bus. If you take photos, hashtag See Her Greatness, and come up and come meet us.